Okay, well, welcome back. You know, I washed the car. I tried to keep it clean for you guys for today, but this is Winnipeg, and well, I didn't have anything to dry the car with, and it's dusty, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was in the last video. I'm sure you would agree. So today, I thought you might want to hear about what it's like living with a 20-year-old supercar. Some will call it a sports car, some will call it a supercar. I'm gonna say supercar just because it is the turbo, not just a Carrera. And I've seen journalists call it a supercar, so I'm gonna roll with that. So anyway, this is my 2003 911 Turbo. It is a Tiptronic. I bought it in Calgary from Kulu Motor Car. Fantastic place to deal if you are in the market for a used sports or supercar. Chris was an amazing person to deal with. And yeah, I would absolutely deal with him again when the time comes. So, modifications that I've done to this car. There's not a lot. It came with a set of aftermarket BC forged wheels, and came with the factory wheels as well, which was nice because I can put my winter tires on there. The rear wing, I have basically disabled it and just put it in the permanently up position. I think it looks better. Tinted the windows. That of course was through the boys over at Modify Me, and it came with a tune from Autologic, so it's up from the 415 horsepower factory to 481. If you saw the last video, you'll know that even in the winter with no grip whatsoever, it's still really quick 0 to 60. I'm looking forward to doing some testing in the summer with proper tires on proper temperature roads. But anyway, let's go for a drive, and we'll discuss the pros and cons of this car. Now, this car came equipped with the small wood kit. You can see some of the wood trim here and in the bezel here. The factory steering wheel also has wood that was up here. I'm not a big fan. The infotainment surround as well. I'm gonna replace that either with something black or something carbon. I may very well just wrap the wood. I don't know yet. It's got the comfort seats with the embossed Porsche logo in the headrest. Now, these are very comfortable seats. I did 8,000 kilometers in 8 days. That's what, 5,000 miles when I took this thing down to Los Angeles for fuel run. Sorry, sun's in my eyes. So that was in the winter, in the mountains, and I couldn't have asked for a more comfortable vehicle to make the ride in. Plenty of room for my luggage for the week I was down there. And overall, it's just a fantastic vehicle to drive and to spend a lot of time in. Yeah, it's the playfulness and the utility of this car are really, really wonderful. As far as I'm concerned, for a almost 500 horsepower car that was $200,000 when it was brand new, Canadian, you can't ask for a better daily driver. It really is perfect. The transmission, it's a 5-speed. It's a Mercedes gearbox, which ironically I had in my old E350. I don't imagine any of you remember that unless you go back in my Instagram. But it's a learning transmission. basically picks up how you're driving. So if you're in slow traffic or heavy traffic, it gets kind of sluggish, but that's what the paddles are for. You can you can just kind of force it to bend to your will. What else can I tell you about this car? Don't mind the snow brush. It is February. Came equipped with a Bose sound system originally. Still got the Bose speakers in it. So I do need to replace the rear ones. They're kind of shot. So maintenance on this car. What have I had to do? I have bought winter tires. I have replaced the serpentine belt. Some would call it the auxiliary belt. And I have done oil changes. That's it. This car has been dead reliable. I picked it up with 88,000 kilometers on it, so just over 50,000 miles. And right now I am at 131,000. Not sure what that works out to in miles. 130 kilometers an hour is about 85,000 miles. So I've had this for just over 2 years now. Well, coming up on 3 years in August. And yeah, so it's a fair amount of driving for a car like this. I took it to Kelowna to visit August Motor Cars. Video link up there. And that was also in the winter. I did that in January, and oh my God, in the mountains, you cannot ask for a better car to go play with. It's just that's where it's home. It's absolutely fantastic. But anyway, enough yapping and sitting here. Let's put up the DJI, my new DJI Osmo Action 3. Cool camera so far, I think. I haven't really tried it yet. This will be the first real test. So, you guys let me know what you think about that, please. And we'll go for a drive, and we'll see what this thing is like. All right, enough of being parked like a douchebag. Thankfully, I'm at the empty end of the parking lot. It's almost like I planned that, huh? So the roads are wet, a lot of puddles. So the car may be dirty by the time we get back out of the car, but unfortunately there's not a lot I can do about that, and this is a daily driver. This is not some fragile little Ferrari. As I said, I did an 8,000 kilometer road trip down to Fuel Run, midnight run to Vegas. I had this thing up to, well, speeds. Don't want to incriminate myself. And this car has not let me down, except for one time, and that was nothing to do with the car. I had to get the driver's door replaced because of an accident, and the body shop didn't properly secure the negative cable or the ground cable to the battery, and it popped off. I got a video about that too. There's the link. But otherwise, this car has been as perfect as I could hope. It starts every time, as long as the battery is healthy, which there has been an incident. That video I put on TikTok, it's got close to 1 million views on it. But, you know, people love the suffering of others, so I can't say I'm surprised by that. So, in terms of overall reliability, yeah, this car is perfect. It's this Metzger engine. Being a turbo, it does not have the intermediate shaft bearing problem that the non-turbos have. And power delivery is really good. There is turbo lag, we might, with any luck, get a chance to show you that in a couple of minutes. But it's not unmanageable. And once the turbos are on, they don't stop until you do. It's almost frightening. I can only imagine what a GT2 would be like with only rear-wheel drive and no traction control. Because when I turn the traction off on this, which is all-wheel drive, for those that didn't know, I can absolutely have zero traction for until I let off. Basically, it's crazy. I mean, it's winter and it's cold, and I've got snow tires on, so that's probably part of it. But I can get the tires to break loose in the summer at speed. So, and again, with the traction on. So I'm looking forward to doing some 0 to 60 testing in the summer. It should be very interesting. I'm very curious to see exactly what this thing can do. It's an absolute monster in the best way. There was a car, I can't remember which car it was, and some automotive journalist described it as a linebacker in a tuxedo. So I'm going to steal that to describe this car. Really, it's elegant, like, you know, it's leather, it's civilized, it's reasonably quiet in here. But when you press that loud pedal with your right foot, it will attack. Plain and simple, it will just attack. And if you're not ready for it, and you don't know how to drive a 911, it will hurt you. And when I say if you don't know how to drive a 911, because the engine is way at the back, it's a very different driving method if you're on track or if the back end starts to go around. With a 911, you have to actually get your foot into it further, push down on the throttle further to try to get the back to plant harder to get more traction. If you lift off, all that weight transfer to the front is going to make the back end light, and because the engine overhangs the back tires, it's just going to send you around. So yeah, if you ever find yourself buying a 911, especially a rear-wheel drive one, keep that in mind. 100% go find some place like the Porsche Experience Center and learn how to drive the car. It's a very different experience. Yep, lost traction. And we were already moving pretty good. But it's fun. I realize I'm destroying my tires, and that's certainly not the best situation to find yourself in. But, you know, being a bit of a hooligan with a car like this is, well, it's fun. I'm not going to lie. It's not recommended because tires ain't cheap, especially a 295/30. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Okay, perfect. So you're going to get a bit of a chance to, hopefully, with this camera angle, you're going to be able to see it, the turbo lag. It's not like the old 930 or 935, but it's definitely there. I would have to say that is probably one of the worst parts of the driving experience of this car, is that lag, but it's so easy to experience of this car. That lag is about the worst part of it. And for those of you who have never met me in person, I'm 5'14" and just about 250 pounds. And while I don't have enough room for a helmet in here, I do have plenty of room. My leg room is great. Headroom is great. It's a perfectly sized car for someone my size. And a couple of my past videos, I've referenced wanting to get a Gallardo, which, yeah, I fit in, barely. But my problem with the Lambos is the windshield only comes to about here. So anytime I'm at a red light, I gotta, kind of crane the old neck and look under it, which is a sacrifice I'm willing to make for you guys if I find myself in a position to get one. But overall, I mean, I did a 5 things I hate video about this car, and I mean, let's face it, it's what us YouTubers have to do. But there is really nothing to hate about this car. I may do some vinyl to it. I have done a couple of stripes here and there and different decals on it. And I do have an idea from the video where I asked for your help. Somebody did have a really great suggestion that I'm probably going to do. Gotta wait and see what that's going to be, though. But yeah, it's really docile. I'm in traffic right now. I'm just tottering along, but it's just a really a great vehicle for every day. If you've got kids, maybe not so much, but I don't. So that's not anything I need to concern myself with. There we go. So hopefully that time you definitely saw it. The back end actually did try to kick out a little bit, but it's so easy to control and modulate this engine. I can't compare it to what it would be like stock because I don't know. I bought the car with the tune on it, and it just seems to be really, really good. So that's, initially I was trying to get it flashed back to factory just to compare, but I really do not see a point. It's just such a good car as is. Would I miss the 70-ish horsepower? Probably not. But I don't want to take that chance. One weird thing about this car, it does not like accelerating slowly in terms of fuel consumption, of all things. And no, I did not buy this car for fuel economy or anything like that. It's just an observation I've had that if I can get up to speed quickly and be a little more aggressive with the throttle to get there, I do get better fuel mileage. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's okay. It doesn't have to. It's just what is. And again, I didn't buy this car for fuel mileage. Anybody who buys a 500 horsepower car and tells you they are worried about fuel economy shouldn't have bought the car. Go buy a Ford EcoSport or something. All-wheel drive, available with a manual, turbo, ridiculously tunable. If you follow PetFred on Instagram, he had a 996 turbo that he had tuned to around 800 horsepower. Now, granted, that was more than just an ECU tune. That was bigger turbos, bigger intercoolers, etc. But the sky's the limit with these Metzger engines. It's just ridiculous. And we can't forget the headlights. People can hate on them all they want, but these are the coolest headlights on any 911. They're the ones that make you'd be able to tell exactly which model this is or which generation. And I mean, these ones are the bi-xenon, so the light from these is amazing. So in the end, what's it like living with a car like this? It's great. It really is. All-wheel drive, a lot of power, easy drivability, plenty of room for everything I need, and you know, it's beautiful. Come on, it's a 911. So if you find yourself in a position, I would definitely recommend buying yourself a 911. Air-cooled, water-cooled, new, old, whatever. They're just amazing, amazing cars. And I am so very glad I bought this one. It's, you know, you grow up with your dream cars, and you know, I grew up with the Lamborghini Countach on my bedroom wall. But this, the 911, not the 996, of course, it's relatively new compared to me, but it's always been a dream of mine. I mean, it was one of the few exotic car dealerships that we actually have here in Winnipeg, and did when I was a kid. So for me, it's always been, it's always felt attainable, but I didn't think it would be. But here we are. So anyway, thanks as always for watching. Make sure you check out shanescarlife.com, get some merch. I've got a new print up there actually that's available as wall art. It's a gorgeous picture of a 918. There's the Alfa Romeos. There's the new color change coffee mug. So check it out, and we'll see you next video.